what's happening, everybody? This is Plum Darkness. As of now, it's still Plum Darkness. Well, but the channel's called Plum Darkness. Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Plum Darkness. As of now, it's still Plum Darkness. Well, but the channel's called Plum Darkness. Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Plum Darkness. As of now, it's still Plum Darkness. Well, but the channel's called Plum Darkness. Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Plum Darkness. As of now, it's still Plum Darkness.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Plum Darkness here, back with another video. What's going on? So last week we made a video kind of coming back to YouTube, explaining all that. Thank you guys for those who viewed that. No one did comment. I did like the likes though, but no one did comment to tell me their opinions and what they thought, and which is okay. You guys are shy. That or no one really watched it. But anyways, anywho, a link to the description for that last video, and also it'll be up there somewhere. And anyways, that song, by the way, was made by my buddy Hazard Fox, known in real life, and does great music. Here's a link to his channel as well, and also be in the description. Please show him some love, and he's very talented, and yeah, hopefully you'll maybe do some more music with that, and yeah, we've done a couple videos together on my channel too. So anywho, so today topic of discussion. So we're still we're still doing the transition to another channel where we're talking about more serious issues, like I mentioned before. But today we're going to be talking about Silent Hill, more specifically Silent Hill 2, and which is my favorite Silent Hill game. I don't know, it's probably a lot of fans, but not every fan, I can't assume. They're all really good Silent Hill games. Not all of them. Sorry, I lied. I didn't think about that before I said that. Silent Hill 1, 2, 3, 4 are great. Downpour is cool. I like Homecoming, even though you can see it's heavily inspired by the movie Silent Hill, which is also a great movie. The first one, by the way. But you can see the inspirations from that. Still a good story though. Did change a little bit more actiony, but that's okay. You know, Silent Hill 3 got a little actiony too, with all its weaponry and whatnot. But we're gonna talk about Silent Hill 2 today, and reason why I picked Silent Hill 2, I was kind of hard contemplating which game I should pick to talk about, and it was gonna be like Metal Gear Solid, which is a good story, you know, or Silent Hill, Castlevania, all those are Konami games, Final Fantasy, pretty much the first 3 Resident Evil games, you know, talk about that and that story. But, you know, I think Silent Hill for me, has the deepest impact when it comes to story and deeper meaning behind just what you see in the video game. A lot of philosophy going on there, a lot of things about discussions about, a lot of deeper discussions that you can be brought from that game. So that's why I want to talk about today, and hopefully we get you guys engaged in the comment section. Please feel free to comment, and I'd like to hear what you guys think about the game. Have you played it? Have you, which version do you like? The gameplay you see here is from the HD collection, which is the terrible version of it. It's kind of, they think they did send some updates to make it a little bit better, but it's still not as good as the original PS2 version. Even Xbox version is okay, but PS2 version is the one I played it on. So, so anyways, let's get to the video. So here we go. So what can you say about Silent Hill 2? It's just a phenomenal game. It's the best one in the series by far. So if you guys know the story of it, it's a story of James Sutherland, who gets a letter from his dead wife. I know I'm kind of shortening it down a little bit, but he gets a letter from we thinks is his dead wife, to return to Silent Hill, and he's such in a deep, dark place because of his wife being passed, you know, dead, and he just goes for it, you know, says fuck it, so he goes ahead. And then he sees how kind of weird and twisted and tormented this town of Silent Hill is, and he goes through clues and everything to find where his wife is. And along the way, of course, he meets a doppelganger of his wife named Maria. His real name is, his wife's name is Mary. And he meets a girl that looks just like his wife, named Maria. So it's a little confusing for him. But anyways, in this scene here, you find out the videotape. This is there towards the end of the game, where you find out that actually James actually killed his wife. Depending on what end you get in the game, you know. But he does kill her out of kind of guilt. she's sick, she's dying, she's torturing him, calling him names and all this stuff, and he's just tired of dealing with this. So he smothers her with a pillow, and he kind of forgets that he did that out of guilt, I suppose. And the idea of Silent Hill 2 is that, at least the world of Silent Hill 2, which is I don't think was explored much at all in Silent Hill 1 and 3, the psychological aspects of the town, which is that the town envelops kind of your fears and your guilts and your nightmares and things like that, and kind of manifests it. And this is the enemies and bosses that James fights throughout the game is just manifestations of these things. Each of these characters, of the monsters, represent some kind of aspect of his psyche. Ultimately, with fighting Mary at the end, or Maria, depending on what kind of ending you get. Fighting Pyramid Head, which is a very popular character, of course, Pyramid Head. And let's talk about Pyramid Head now. That's a good jumping off point. Now, Pyramid Head itself is a character that is very specific to James Sutherland. However, he does gets thrown into other Silent Hill games like Downpour. I believe he's in Downpour. I want to say I remember. I think he's also. I want to say he's in Homecoming as well. I haven't played it so long, but it's really more like he's called the executioner. Like played Dead by Daylight, but he's like an executioner like character. He's there to torture James, to kill Maria over and over and over again. And we'll get to Maria in a little bit here, actually, because there's be some gameplay of the Born from a Wish expansion they added, where you get to play as Maria, and you see her behavior actually totally different than what James experiences as. So it's really very interesting. Anyways, but Pyramid Head's it's very specific to James, but for some reason, they like to throw him into other media and into the movies, and it doesn't really make sense. It seems out of place for like a hardcore Silent Hill fan to spot those things, or to see Pyramid Head into thrown in other games and the movies, which doesn't really make sense. But he's kind of like a torturer. He's called executioner. He's there to remind James, in a sense. But towards the end of the game, we realize that James does not. We'll see that in a little bit here. A scene where he pretty much acknowledges that he does not need Maria anymore, because you see her. I think die like 3 times in the game. Once in the hallway, at the hospital, I want to say, and then another time in a bed. She's face is all fucked up, and she's dead, or someone did something to her face. Anyways, in this scene here, actually, this is Laura here. This is like another character who's actually dead, or have died. New Mary, and she's stuck here in Silent Hill as well. So that's an interesting component of the game itself in Silent Hill, and Silent Hill in general, is that it's kind of a mystery. Is the protagonists tend not to leave Silent Hill. I guess in multiple endings. I mean, I guess you say Harry Mason does leave Silent Hill, because you see him in Silent Hill 3. Now obviously Cheryl as well, aka Heather, but Harry just bites the bucket in 3, of course, but you never hear from James again. You never hear from Cheryl at the end of Silent Hill 3, and the Henry Townsend from Silent Hill 4, even. You don't. There's just multiple endings where you don't hear from them again. So it's. And I think that's a kind of a component where they were trying to go towards in the Silent Hills game, which was the canceled, the PT thing, the whole canceled thing, where they're going to kind of explore this idea that there's multiple Silent Hills, multiple realities, dimensions within this world or Silent Hill, and people get brought in, dragged away, put in, and you'll see here in a second here, actually, a good example of that. So. Yeah, so in this scene, you're going to a stairwell where you come across Angela, who is kind of key component to the one of the endings, the in water ending. I want to say it's called the water ending, and the idea of this is that James kills himself at the end of it, and it's implied that Angela wants to kill herself too with this knife that you take from her, or you keep basically. And in here, you see that Silent Hill is different from person to person. Now James sees fog, and then he sees all his rust and torn up stuff when it's the dark Silent Hill. Now this is what Angela sees all the time. This is what she sees. She sees fire, she sees flames and gulf. She has daddy issues, she has mommy issues. She probably got, I think she does, it does imply she got molested as a child from her father. But this is what she sees in Silent Hill. But James doesn't see this normally, unless we're talking about this scene. Actually, you'll see it later on that when he goes through the door, it's just a normal, and he comes back, it's just a normal stairwell, or at least the stairwell that he sees. So it's an interesting component about this is that we see, it's kind of like in the psychologically, we see what we imagine, right? If we imagine something that appears to be what I see is not necessarily what you see. The color blue, for example, may look a little bit different than what you think. Especially was that that one hue of blue. Everyone's just like, hey, it's purple. Like, no, it's blue. No, that's purple. So what do people see? Or remember that golden black or blue and black dress that came out a couple years ago? And people like on the internet were arguing and fighting over each other over what color it was. It was so stupid. But anyways, perspective. And it's just like your psyche can really have a huge effect of what you see, what you think you're seeing. But anyways, yeah. And this scene here also, she asks for a knife back because he's, of course, he doesn't want her to kill herself. So James is a very compassionate person, even though he had a really traumatic event that kind of fucked him up a little bit, but he's still to the point, a compassionate person doesn't want to see Angela die. So anyways, I want to shut up here in a second here. There's a cool part of this, kind of basically explaining what I mentioned about what Angela sees and compared to what James sees. And it's a really cool scene, actually. I like it. It blew my mind when I was younger. I was like, wow. It's like, this is what it's like, because I always thought that the Silent Hill was just a town full of fog, and then that when the bell rings, whatever, the horn goes off, it's a fucking dark Silent Hill. But no, it's different for everyone. This is why Silent Hill 2 is one of my favorite ones, because it changed the game and the story. For number one, which is more focused like on the occult and churches and stuff like that. So here's that scene there.
It's hot as hell in here.
You see it too. For me, it's always like this.
I was weak. That's why I needed you. I needed someone to punish me for my sins. But that's all over now. I know the truth. Now it's time to end this.
Hey, so anyways, this is the boss fight between the two pyramid heads. So I mentioned this scene earlier, but you know, this is the scene, the last scene where you kind of see Maria, and it's just him realizing what the role of Pyramid Head really is in this story. He finally realizes it. He finally realizes that he killed his wife, and he put that pressure that, you know, put that guilt down, way down, and forgot about it. And this is this, you know, and now he's gonna get rid of Pyramid Head once and for all. Doesn't need him anymore. He doesn't need Maria anymore. He knows exactly what he did, and he necessarily feels absolved from all this stuff he did, though. But he knows that he doesn't need these characters to constantly punish him and torture him throughout the game. So now we're getting to a realization that James itself is, you know, he's becoming maybe a little more sane than he was. This is a really hard fight, by the way. If you don't, I did use some mods here, so just have like a bunch of ammo. So, but anyways, you have to keep your distance though. But anyways, so and you'll see towards the end of the fight, what the Pyramid Heads, they'll pretty much kill themselves. And I don't know what the deal with the eggs are, but I guess eggs deals with rebirth. You're kind of just you know, there's the whole idea of rebirth is a big part of this game too. It's one of the major endings. It involves this ceremony, and it's kind of like, you know, it's starting anew, right? Rebirth, right? And that's why these characters drop eggs, and there's a lot of eggs and just still kind of things, that kind of imagery throughout the game. Now, what's cool about this game too is that with the multiple endings, well, all the Silent Hills have multiple endings, right? Especially including like some joke endings like the UFO or the dog ending, which is a part of this game. Dog endings are very funny, and the UFO ending's pretty funny too. But anyways, the multiple endings that you get to see different components and aspects of the game. Now, I tried to shoot for the in-water ending in the game, but one of the things you have to do is, you know, if you guys didn't know, you have to not heal. Well, you can heal, but don't heal so rashly. Like, don't heal when you just took some damage. You have to wait, maybe heal less. Here you go. So they can see him commit suicide. Here's some Poku. Yeah, kind of cool, kind of cool scene. And you want to see the eggs here, the usage of the eggs to get gain passageway to this towards the final boss, Mary. In this case, it's Mary, not Maria. But anyways, the next scene I want to shut up during, and it's a really cool, it's skippable conversation you're hearing from Mary on her deathbed, and it helps a lot it helps to get the in-water ending. The in-water ending ultimately ends with James crashing his car into the lake and dying, I assume committing suicide himself, which is something he's trying to have Angela avoid. This is from the guilt that kept on pressuring him, probably from before the game and during the game. So anyways, here's that scene.
Mary?
What do you want, James?
I brought you some flowers.
Flowers? I don't want any damn flowers. Just go home already.
Mary, what are you saying?
Look, I'm disgusting. I don't deserve flowers. Between the disease and the drugs, I look like a monster. Well, what are you looking at? Get the hell out of here. Leave me alone already. I'm no use to anyone. I'll be dead soon anyway. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. It'd be easier if they'd just kill me. But I guess the hospital is making a nice profit off me. They want to keep me alive. Are you still here? I told you to go. Are you deaf? Don't come back. James, wait. Please don't go. Stay with me. Don't leave me alone. I didn't mean what I said. Please, James. Tell me I'll be okay. Tell me I'm not going to die. Help me.
Now coming up here is the final boss scene, which is really it's a very easy boss fight, I would just say. I think it's meant to be, and the idea is that now you're coming across Mary, and you see her in this monstrous form, kind of like in the form similar to what you saw her towards in her deathbed, just say, when she was super sick. I don't necessarily say she was dying, but she was. I mean, this James killed her, obviously from the torture he was being put through with her. Anyway, so you see like this monstrous form of her, and then afterwards you'll see like some recollection and some some hard feelings and things and true feelings being shared. So anyways, here's that boss fight.
Mary?
When will you ever stop making that mistake? Mary's dead. You killed her.
Maria? It's you. But I don't need you anymore.
What? You must be joking. But I can be yours. I'll be here for you forever. And I'll never yell at you or make you feel bad. That's what you wanted. I'm different than Mary. How can you throw me away?
I understand now. It's time to end this nightmare.
No, I won't let you. You deserve to die too, James. James.
So now this is the Born from a Wish expansion or addition they add to the game. Now you get to play as Maria, as I mentioned before. You did play as Maria, and her behavior and attitude is totally different in this game. This is kind of like it takes place before Silent Hill 2, before you play as James and you're at Silent Hill. So this is Maria. It's called Born from a Wish because Maria herself was created through Silent Hill, through James's memories of Mary, his dead wife, and so Maria is totally different because she doesn't really know her purpose. She was kind of born from a wish, right? She wished that Mary is still alive, and she's created by Silent Hill through James, and she's trying to figure out who she is. What she is. This is why she's very nice and complacent. She's not trying to flaunt herself, even though she's wearing obviously a little more promiscuous clothes. You start off in the game with in the strip club, I guess, and if you want to call it. But anyways, during this gameplay, Maria shows up in this mansion, is talking to this man who owns this mansion here. That's probably the only mansion in Silent Hill. And he's talking to her, and she wants some companionship. She wants someone to talk to. She doesn't see anybody, and she just always sees these monsters. Same monsters that James was seeing, by the way. So it shows kind of a connection between her and James. She came from James himself, so she's seeing the same stuff that James sees. It's really interesting, kind of like a different multiple personality disorder there. And anyways, he's talking to this person here who she believes is there, but you find out later on he's not there actually. And And that's some of the theories that leaks into Silent Hills, the canceled game, that Silent Hill is just a hotspot for multiple different versions of Silent Hill, and people can come and go throughout these dimensions. And maybe this guy here belongs to a different Silent Hill. Maybe he sees something different, or some theories say he's actually just another extension off of James or even Maria even. So it's like a split off of a split off. Very interesting concept. I forgot the guy's name now. I think it's going to say here in the scene. Not Patrick. Is it Patrick? Jason? No. What's his name? Ernest. There you go. Ernest. And he has a daughter too, and there's a whole thing debacle going on with that. So anyways, here's a really creepy scene coming up. I just want to show it off here to show us the pure horror and scariness of the game.
Oh God!
Call an ambulance!
She fell out the window!
What happened?
Don't move her!
Give it. To my daddy.
Do you know a little girl named Amy?
Why do you ask me that?
This letter. To my dearest daddy. It's from a girl named Amy Baldwin. Your daddy?
Yes. Where'd you find that?
Up in the attic.
Oh. What a fool. Now, when it's too late, I finally understand why. Why she was there. Why she was holding that empty envelope when she fell.
Ernest. Amy. She isn't... I'm sorry. I'm sorry I reminded you.
No need to apologize. You didn't remind me. I've never forgotten. Maria, some things we forget, and some things we can never forget. It's funny, I'm not sure which one is sadder. It's been 10 years, but I still...
Ernest, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
No, it's fine. Maria, that letter.
I'll leave it here.
Thanks. Maria? So, You must be... That's why. That's why you could see me.
Huh?
So perhaps that means that I can hope for a miracle as well.
What do you mean?
In the apartment next door, there's a bottle containing a white liquid. I don't know exactly where it is, but I know it's in there somewhere. I must have it.
You want me to get it for you?
Please.
Why don't you just get it yourself?
If I could, believe me, I would. But
White?
I'll open the stairway door.
Ernest, do you really believe it will work?
I don't know.
Well, that's okay. I don't mind fighting for an impossible cause. Anyway, it beats just giving up and doing nothing.
Maria, thank you.
So yeah, anyways, back-to-back scenes there. So I just wanted to showcase that to show something really important about the Ernest's character, as I now remember his name, and well, in the relationship with the town itself. Well, he said he's born in this town, right? So it kind of alludes that maybe he was created by somebody else, and it's interesting because if James has the effect to create these people from a wish, from the will of Silent Hill, the power of Silent Hill, you know, maybe other characters do as well. But who knows if other people see these characters that they're created, which is really why I like Silent Hill 2, because it leaves that mystery open to the player to, to discuss and to talk about. And it's something you don't get from the other Silent Hill. Well, maybe not the other Silent Hill games, but Silent Hill 1 and 3 specifically, because Silent Hill 1 and 3 is great games as they are. It's very there's nothing really. It's a lot of it's face value. You get the story from what you see in the game. Well, I don't want to pause for some reason. You everything you see is kind of what you get. At least from Silent Hill. I mean, there's a lot of lore and stuff background of the Silent Hill, especially Silent Hill 1, but for the most part, what you're experiencing is what is going on in the game. Until you get to the end of the game, of course, Silent Hill 1, you realize you wake one of the endings when you're Harry and you wake up in the crashed car and Cheryl's not there, and it was just all a dream or whatever like that, or a nightmare. Then you can kind of have discussion, but for the most part, this is what you're seeing is what you get here in this game. Is that you're playing as Maria and you're seeing these things, and you're in this creepy mansion, or you're playing as James. You're going through the streets of Silent Hill, and you're seeing these things, these different types of creatures and everything, and you're doing these weird stuff. In the game, there's a lot of weird stuff you do in the game that doesn't really make sense. So it's kind of like a nightmare, but it's like this is something that James is seeing, and is it just something that he's seeing, or are there other people that is like Angela, for example, or Eddie's the other character you don't see in the video though, but he's slightly overweight he's really overweight. He came to Silent Hill for another reason too, just like with the Laura, the little girl we saw earlier, as Silent Hill for a different reason too. And that's interesting, too, is again, it connects back to, like I mentioned, about Silent Hills, and it could have been such a great concept, is like, because all these different characters in Silent Hill 2, and all the different characters you see throughout, Henry Townsend, Cheryl Mason, Harry Mason, you know, James, Alex, even from Homecoming, and what's the guy's name in Downpour? I forgot his name now. Anyways, all these characters all come to Silent Hill, are all experiencing different components of Silent Hill. Like a Silent Hill Downpour, for example, is like, you know, the world kind of goes to shit. I mean, Silent Hill goes to shit in a handbasket, like the Dark Silent Hill when it's water involved, you know, something to do with water. You know, that was something, you know, something that character feared was water, fear of, you know, or drowning and thing, or whatever the aspect was. I think it was because something to do with the prison that he killed that guy. I mean, anyways, it's been a while since I played a game. Yeah, here we are traveling. Here's another thing too. We're traveling to go back to these apartments to find this white liquid, which is actually similar to the white liquid that we find in one of the rebirth endings in when he plays as James, and so connections, you know. So I think it's really interesting. This is why I like the game, because you can discuss about it, and you know, it could be right, could be wrong. It's not about being right or wrong. It's like having these really cool theories. Like Ernest is really like an extension of Maria or James. That's someone I read that online. You know, it's really interesting. So, anyways, this is going to be like the last part of the video here. We'll let play, and then we'll have a little extra discussion at the end, and there'll be end of video. So hopefully this video is not too long for you guys. I had to cut it down for like an hour and a half to like 45 minutes. So, anyways.
Thank you, Maria. That's the only item I couldn't get myself. By the time I found out about it, I could no longer leave this house. So long.
Yes, but Will...
Maria, the gods are here. You know it too. You were born in this town.
I'm not sure God is the right word.
Do you believe in fate?
Not really.
That's fine then.
Ernest, can I open this?
This is a dead end. There's nothing beyond here.
I know. So, what if I had said I believed in fate?
That James. He's a bad man.
James... Yes. I know.
He's looking for the you that isn't you.
Because he's kind? Do you know something?
Yes. Maria, you're...
Anyway, that's just what you think. You don't really know anything. That's fine.
Okay.
So anyways, hey, at the end of the video. So thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching the video. So I try to make it kind of simple today, and I'm still kind of new at editing, and not new, but you know, just like putting more effort into editing and figuring out organizing what we're going to talk about. So really, I just wanted to mention the idea of Silent Hill 2 and all the cool things that it brought up. Like, you know, about talking about the psyche, you know, and personalities and what we see, what we make out of our reality. It brings up a lot of cool component ideas, and this is why I like it so much, because what you see in Silent Hill 2 is not exactly what's going on. And you'll see a lot of games like that. Everything was face value. I mean, I love Resident Evil. It's one of my favorite game series of all time. Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, you know, Code Veronica. Notice I skipped 6 there at 5. I like them as games, but anyways, we'll talk about that another time. And you know, but what you see in those games is face value. It's just like unless you know, which is like, I just read this book about the unofficial history of Resident Evil, and you know, if you guys didn't know that Resident Evil 4 was going to be completely different than what we see today, and it was going to be originally more action packed, but then like it had like this whole component to where you're fighting this creature, this ghost man, hook man that was, you know, possibly there or not there. So you know, it would have been interesting, but you know, Resident Evil's always been face value, right? So I like a psychological horror, you know, thing that Silent Hill brought. You know, one had it, but again, what you're fighting is, you know, kind of what what you're seeing was what you get. You know, I don't think. See, I believe the monsters in Silent Hill 1 and 3. I think 3 does have a little more connections with Cheryl, but 1 doesn't really have too many connections with the main character, Harry. Maybe more connections with Cheryl, or Alyssa, you know, Alyssa, I should say. But, you know, the Silent Hill 2, though, brought it up a notch, you know. But anyways, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And please do comment. You know, I would appreciate, yeah, if you know, throw a like there too. If you want to subscribe for more content for the Plum Doctors channel, that'd be great. We're still doing a lot more, doing video game content on this channel, so it's going to be, again, like the intro, the cheesy intro video shows that we're gonna talk about. You know, we're still gonna do like gameplay reviews, talk about lore, talk about more in-depth discussion of video games and maybe some trends and stuff. But we're not gonna do necessarily just gameplay. I kind of want to steer away from that. But if you guys enjoyed content like this, there's my boy, by the way. Here's my baby here. This is my boy here. He's always with me. If you guys like the content, yeah, like and subscribe, and we'll, you know, we'll do more, and we'll be pushing towards that new channel hopefully soon. I'm not sure when's going to be up, but I have a couple topics of discussion I want to do for that. But also, if you guys want to see me cover another game, you know, a specific game that maybe I played, and let me know in the comments as well. I was thinking about talking about Metal Gear Solid next, maybe, or Final Fantasy 13. I really want to talk about, actually, I did really want to talk about 13 just because it was kind of like, 13 was kind of like shit on for so long, for, you know, for a lot of reasons, good reasons though, but, you know, but in hindsight now, 13 was, you know, has become more of a cult following, you know, has a cult following now, just like how Final Fantasy 8 was kind of like that too as well. You know, but we can talk about that, yeah, that as well. And another game I wanted to talk about was the what was it? Metal Gear Solid. I want to talk about that. Now I started the lore because the lore has been talked about before, and of course it'd be forever. You can talk about the lore and the story of Metal Gear Solid for the longest time, but I wanted to talk about just the gameplay of Metal Gear Solid, how that has evolved, and you know, and then let's talk about, of course, you know, the fall of the Hideo Kojima, and which we mentioned. We didn't talk about him in this video though, but Silent Hills. Yeah, what do you guys think about Silent Hills? Like, I mean, that could have been so cool. I mean, and it was always implied that I mean, especially throwing in Silent Hill too, is that people see Silent Hill differently, and there's possibly, I mean, they're all in their own little world in Silent Hill. So there's, in a sense, multiple Silent Hills, and you know, maybe the game would have evolved more in when it got more in detail in that, and what does that really entail? And that would have been cool. And who still has a PT on their PS4? God, I mean, I'm jealous of you. I should have never gotten another PS4. Should I got rid of that old PS4? So, anyways, we'll see you guys around, and for the next video, peace.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Plum Darkness. As of now, it's still Plum Darkness. Well, but the channel's called Plum Darkness. Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Plum Darkness. As of now, it's still Plum Darkness. Well, but the channel's called Plum Darkness. Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Plum Darkness. As of now, it's still Plum Darkness. Well, but the channel's called Plum Darkness. Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Plum Darkness. As of now, it's still Plum Darkness. Well, but the channel's called Plum Darkness. Hey, Plum Darkness. Hey, Plum Darkness.